Hello, everybody. This is Robert Hollis. I hope you're having a wonderful and blessed day. And today we're talking about SIZZLE sessions versus weekly opportunity meetings. So I'll wait for Facebook to go out there and share with everyone. Thank you, Facebook. I really, really appreciate you. I'm happy Mark Zuckerberg put this together. Hey, Bill, how you doing, man? Let's play with the numbers. You're absolutely correct. Hey, my lovely wife, Terry, thank you so much, sweetheart. Appreciate your love and support. You're the best. Hi, Craig. How you doing? Perfect. Awesome, 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 awesome. And we'll look like we'll go ahead and get started here. I know some other people jump on. Here they go. Hi, Melody. Love you. Hi, Crystal. Hi, Author. Nice to see you on here. Really appreciate you. Hi, Jennifer. So here we go. This will be the last little video that I'll do about the back chapters of this. But again, we're teaching out of the book, The Basics on How to Build a Large, Successful, Multi-Level Marketing Organization by Don Fala. Now, listen to this, you guys. You're going to crack up. And Don Fala created the first parts of this in what he calls the 10 napkin presentations. And 1968. 1968. So what am I? 6 years old? So I want you guys to really, really get this, because there's going to be some stuff that I'm going to throw you off here. And the reason why is it threw me off. So a quick story about me. I did not know what multi-level was. Thank God. Thank God. I didn't know what multi-level was from broke people that know everything. How many of you people know people that know everything? If you don't believe them, just ask them. You know, the funniest one that Terry and I love right now is we've had a Tesla for over a year. And the amount of garbage and BS that you hear on social media about Teslas is just freaking disturbing. That there's a guy that's running for government that is going out of his way to write a documentary, on Hulu and do all these commercials, about how bad Teslas are. In the documentary, it talked about three people in 4 years that lost their lives driving a Tesla. And listen to this, 36,000 people a year die from car accidents. 36,000. So if you took 36 times 2, what is that? 72,000. And then you take that times 2, that's 148,000 people in the last 4 years lost their lives in automobile crashes. But let's talk about Tesla and the 3 people that died. It's like people are mental. They really are mental on a lot of ways. And I want to bring this up and really share this with you guys, because this is the way the whole world is. 98% of the people that you're going to talk to do not want to understand multi-level marketing. They think it's a hoax. I recently went on podcast to do some checking on a bunch of stuff. There's anti-network marketing blog posts and also podcasts where people can just get on and rag and cry about how this industry is an illegal pyramid, blah, 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 blah. When are you going to stop listening to undocumented, broke, disgusting people? That was the first thing I had to learn. That was the first thing that I had to learn. So here's a guy, doesn't know what network marketing is, doesn't know what MLM is, but I do know one thing. I met a guy that was making $62,000 a month that was 5 years older than me. and with no college education. And so when I understood that you didn't need to be intelligent, you do have to be simple and follow instructions, but you don't have to be intelligent and you don't have to work super hard. When I found out that this guy was overriding, over 30,000 people were responsible for his income, and he was making that kind of money, I went, me. I would love that lifestyle, and I would love to make that kind of money. Now, my mentor, I did what he told me to do. And I'm going to share some stuff with you guys that's going to blow you away in this chapter. Because I didn't know where my mentor learned this stuff from. He learned it from this book. So let me go on just a little more of a rant, all right? I paid a lot of money to get me and Max Miller. We heard of a guy named Brendan Burchard. And Brendan Burchard was teaching people how to have a #1 best-selling book. So we paid a lot of money. Me and Max went to New York City, and we spent like 3 days with Brendan Burchard on how to make a best-selling book. This is on Amazon. How is it working? Freedom, get rid of freedom and go to get out of the rat race and get into freedom. You know what my favorite line of this whole book is? I don't know if you guys have ever seen this. Have you ever read the very first thing it says on the back? It says, "Why are you reading the back of this book?" I don't know. I know I think different, and that's okay, all right? So this is what he said. You guys are get right here about $50,000 of education with this one next paragraph. He said it's easy to be an expert in this world. And when you become an expert in this world, people will pay you money for that expertise. Find out A, what you want to be an expert in. 2, find the 3 best-selling, most reviewed books on that subject. Then once you read those books and study them, read them more than once. Once you read those 3 books, you now know more than 99% of the people on the planet. And I thought, oh my God, we just paid $25,000 for this guy to tell me that I just need to go on Amazon, which in 1968, there wasn't Amazon. There wasn't the internet. There wasn't cell phones. I'll get on one little more tangent. Warren Buffett will go down as one of the best investors on the planet. They asked him how he did that. He went to a thing called a library. And he asked a different question. He went to the librarian and he says, "How long you worked here?" She says, "Oh my God, I've worked here for 20 some years." He said, "Is there a way for you to check for me the most checked out book in the financial and investment section?" She goes, "I know exactly which one it is." He read that book, used that book to make, in today's dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then he picked the college that he went to in the city of the person that wrote the book. As he was at college, he wrote this guy a letter telling him how much he made following his investment information, and that he would like to be an apprentice. And the guy hired him. Okay, so now I'm done with my tangent. So going back to my personal story, I'm just doing what my mentor's telling me. I hit the top of one company, he started his own company, and I went to the top of that company. And then it was in 1992, October of 1992, where I stepped away and left his company. His company ended up on 2020 with Barbara Walters and Hugh Downs, and they took his company away. So I learned a lot of stuff from my mentor on what to do and what not to do. But then I had this sort of weird thought. How much is what he taught me is his information versus the right information? So I went on this quest, like Luke Skywalker in the first Star Wars. If there is such a thing as a Jedi, then where do Jedis learn? And who taught the Jedis? So if you guys understand, the whole theme for the first movie was once his aunt and uncle died, he wanted to find his father. And he wanted to go to the planet where Yoda was. He wanted to learn from Yoda. I wanted to learn from Yoda. Do you guys realize how much information is 1000% bull? If you realize when you wake up one day and realize that the majority of the information that you know is just flat out BS. I'll give you a simple example. Yesterday, Dex and Leo, our golden retrievers, are 4. All right? And so we were like, hey, happy birthday, Dex and Leo. And so, when me and Terry go ready to go to bed, I looked at my son and I went, well, 4 times 7 is 28. I give my son Kyle a hug before I go to bed, tell him I love him. And I said, wow, Dex and Leo are the same age as you are. And he goes, that's just BS. And I looked at him and I went, really? And he looked at me and he goes, Dad, that's just something that someone made up. So when a dog dies, then you can say, well, listen, he was in his 60s. He was in his 70s. And we go, old people die. Old dogs die. And I thought, he's right. I didn't even look it up. And he's right. So I go on and look on Google today. And I said, who made up this stuff? And of course, the Veterinarian Association made it up. But they changed it. Now they say the first year of a golden retriever is 15 years. And every year after that is 9 years. So according to the new upgrades, Dex and Lee are 60, the same age as I am. Harry's in the background. So I was telling her this, and she's going, no, because, she still looks at them as toddlers, you know what I mean? And so I want you to ask yourself, how much stuff do you listen to that is not true? So I think I've already shared with you guys. I learned from a mentor that we were doing listen to weekly presentations we're doing. First thing I was told is that I needed to open up a professional office. Terry and I had a office on the 8th floor of Bank One building in Encino, California. And we did presentations at 10:30 and at 2 o'clock, Monday through Friday. So that's 10. That's 10 presentations so far. Then we did one Tuesdays and Thursday nights at 7:30. That's 12. Then we did one at 10:30 in the morning on Saturday. That's 13. And then we did a 2-hour training from 1 to 3 on Saturday. So 1 2-hour training a week, Fast Start and Explosive Growth. Pulled them right out of this book. And then we did the 7-step presentation. that majority of it was drawing circles. But my mentor talked me into opening up an office, having 10 people in that office that paid $500 a month that covered the monthly $5,000 deal. We all ran advertisements in the newspaper. Again, there's no internet. And we're all on the phones filling these 13 presentations a week. Are you guys hearing me? And so that's the way I was taught to do the business. That is not what I'm doing today. Why? Because now we get down to the rubber meets the road. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. So when I left in October of 92, I did a seek for the Yodas. I found a couple of people, listen closely, who would you want to learn from? I found people that had over 1 million people active in their organization, doing 12 million a month in volume. See, this took me to a whole different stratosphere. The aha moments that I had was like, what? I was working hard trying to figure out how to get, a couple of thousand people in my group, maybe 10,000 people in my group. My mentor had 30. Oh my God. I got to 10,000, and 10,000, I was doing like, $100 million in volume a month, 1 million. My mentor was doing like 3 million, 4 million a month. Now I meet a guy that's 4 times better than that, 12 million a month. And you guys will crack up, because if you look for Don Fela on social media under YouTube, he wears a flowered shirt. Uh-oh. Some of you are going, I thought Robert came up with that idea. No, I just mirror and match people. So if this guy's got 1 million people in his group, there was a lot of things that he wasn't doing. He had this phrase, don't do what works, only do what duplicates. What? Yeah, I don't do weekly meetings. What are you talking about? No, I don't do weekly meetings. Why? And it says in this chapter, let me go over it. The big aha moment I had in 1992. And I read this book and it says, when you have a meeting and all the people show up and there's only like 5 or 6 guests in the entire room. So out of 22 people, there's 19 distributors and 6 guests. That means that the rest of the people invited people to a weekly presentation and they didn't show. And why would you want a weekly presentation about the business and the company and the products and the comp plan when you didn't even take the time to find out that they were interested yet? So it would be like walking up to a person to sell them a vehicle, the vehicle being the network marketing or multi-level company. And you walk up to them and you say, hey, listen, would you be interested in buying this car? And they go, I don't drive. I don't drive. Oh, are you planning to drive? Nope. I know for a fact I have no interest at all in ever driving. Do you know anyone that drives? Nope. No, I don't know anyone that's interested in driving. Do you guys realize that real estate people that are good sales types, they'll walk up and say, hey, do you know anyone that's interested in buying and selling a home? No, not right now. Well, great. Here's my business card. If you ever think of somebody, let me know. How many of you right now could walk into your home walk through your home and find me a business card for a real estate agent that did that for you. See, they started realizing that wasn't working. So then what they did is started putting magnets on calendars so you'll put them on your fridge. They started doing stuff like scratch pads or something because they knew that people were throwing away the business cards. So going back to this chapter of this book, when I read, why would you do a weekly presentation if only a couple of guests show up? The majority of the people, so you see people right now doing weekly presentations online, right? And let me say a really quick statement. You know what? Just because I'm a black belt and a master in Taekwondo doesn't mean I know anything about karate or jujitsu. The point being is there are people out there that are doing things that I don't do that are getting success. It's mind-blowing to me, but hey, there are people that make millions of dollars in real estate, and there's people that make millions of dollars being a doctor, and there's people that make millions of dollars being a lawyer, and there's people that make millions of dollars in virtually doing everything. So if people do stuff different, I'm not mad at them. I just not interested in doing business once I found from a Yoda what to do. Why? Lifestyle is more important to me. Finding people that would be interested in owning their own life. Would you be willing to go back to school for 5 to 10 hours a week for the next 6 months to learn to retire in 1 to 3 years, earning $50,000 plus a month? Are you guys getting me? And here's the one thing that I learned. I learned that a lot of stuff that I was doing was not duplicatable. But my mentor still, by reading this book, figured out his own little tricks. So here's one thing I want you guys to hear before the internet, before cell phones. That when I met my mentor, Bill Gould, once he introduced himself, he stood up and he said, hey, listen, I want to show you guys a short video about our company. He could have did the presentation, but he chose to teach what duplicates. Anyone can say, hey, watch this short video, and he put it in a VCR and he pressed play. Do you realize from the second that I met this man that he was teaching me how to show people the presentation was by showing them a VHS tape. So that was the opportunity of a lifetime video, which, believe it or not, 50% of the video was drawing circles. The first napkin presentations are the first building blocks that I shared with you guys. Why would you show them what this industry is, get them to understand this industry, and get them to understand what is possible for them? That if they found 2 serious people, not 2 people that will get in and do nothing, if they found 2 people that would want, I would change it today to 6 figures. Because that's what I was told 35 years ago. They say that people can only really imagine doubling their income. So if an average person makes 54, an average household, this is according to the IRS. If the average household makes $54,000 a year now, which apparently it probably was $25,000 back in the 60s when Don Fala was doing this. Are you guys hearing me? Then you could say to people, hey, listen, I'm working with a company, or I'm helping expand a company. That's what I say, the last one. I'm helping expand a company, and I was wondering if you could do me a favor. Do you know of anyone that would be interested in making 6 figures a year, working from their phone anywhere in the world with our proven training and marketing system, which is free? Do you know of anyone like that? So if people say, yeah, don't you think it's important for you to send videos that show them the first napkin presentations? See, you want to say, hey, listen, here's what we're building. Here's how we build it. This is not like direct sales where you knock on door for Fuller Brush or Watkins that is 150 years old. See, that's why I say that Amway is kicking our butt, because they're still recruiting people. They're still sponsoring people. And they're saying, who do you know that would like to make some extra money right now? Let me show you a way all of us can pull together, buy products that we use anyway, and all work together to generate an income that eventually will double and even walk away income. And it's going to take a couple of years to do it, 3 to 5 years, depending on how much focus you put in. But the only reason to put people in front of Josh and Jenna's video is to see if they're interested first. Are you guys following me? So when I read this chapter, I think I showed you guys what it is. X15, what is that? Is that 14 or 15? I don't know. Roman numerals. See, you don't have to be smart to do this business. Yeah. Okay, so what? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Chapter 14. Okay? So when I read this and it said, what's the difference between a weekly presentation, not a training, but a SIZZLE session? A SIZZLE session would just be a deal where we could all jump online on a Zoom video conferencing, and what we can do is just talk about what's working and the possibilities of what this is. And always go back to what we talked about in the last couple of chapters, which is, let's theoretically go through the numbers again. Let's go through and play with the numbers to see what we can generate that will supplement and replace our income. So people can say, well, listen, instead of getting 100 people front level, what if I could find 2 serious people that were willing to, spend 5 to 10 hours a week to learn how to make a 6-figure income? Isn't that sort of a different way of saying it? One of the things that I'll leave in this is, if you guys can go to roberthollis.com/free. And starting next week, I'm going to start putting together those live SIZZLE sessions. All right? So we can just jump in and learn all kinds of stuff, learn what we need to do, and so on and so forth. And one of the things is, if you go to roberthollis.com free, one thing that after we got done doing this whole book, which you guys are going to see a lot of similarities, is all of a sudden I mentally in my mind went, wow. I asked Max, he was involved in network marketing, multi-level for years. And he turned around and said, I said, when you interviewed me for this book, what was your biggest takeaway? And he goes, Robert, you have figured out how to only talk to interested people. And so I thought of that before I did this video. Because in a perfect scenario, let's talk about a perfect scenario. You reach out to somebody. Now, if you really believed that this business would help people make money by doing a simple theoretical example, 2 times 2 times 2, if you really did it and proved it and believed it, you would talk to everybody. That is including your friends, your relatives, everything. And you could very simply do what I did. I reached out to everyone I knew and said, listen, I met this guy. He's 5 years older than me, and he makes $62,000 a month. I seen his check attached to the stub. This guy knows what he's doing. And he's looking for people that he can train. I want to meet him. Are you kidding me? I want to meet someone like that. Now, when I went to meet him, and then he showed me the theoretical examples, which we have in, Steps to Success and Freedom, when I seen those numbers, and I seen that the simple system that he put together, that all I needed to do is ask people for a huge favor and introduce me to people that wanted to make extra money or make 6 figures a year. That after they seen that I could tell them about any vehicle, any company. I chose MDC for a reason. Joss and Jenna Zweigel, the simplicity, the compensation plan, the free involvement, the best back office and system and mobile app I've ever seen in my life. And then put that together with products that everyone would love and use. There it is. So I find if people are interested. Then after I find if they're interested, then I can say to them, hey, listen, which by the way, you guys don't have to tell them that. I tell them that. So in Steps to Success and Freedom, I say, get back to the person that showed you this video. Get back to the person that shared this video with you and ask them for their affiliate link to create a free account. After you create a free account, then you very simply got to get in where you fit in. You guys have already seen the videos. I tell them what to do. So the person that does this business correctly is the people that can take the videos like I've done with Don Fala's book, like I've done with his napkin presentations, and all day, every day, I'm looking for people that have ears to hear. Here's the sad part about this profession, this industry, being an entrepreneur, is the majority of the people are not at the right place at the right time. They still think that if you go out in the cold weather, you can catch a cold. They still believe that 1 year of a dog's life is 15 years, or 9, or 7, depending on who you listen to. They still believe that the government's going to take care of them. They still believe that working for somebody is the way to life. They still believe all this stuff. When I found it's the right person at the right time, I was upset. I was upset because I did what I was told to do. I got good grades. I graduated top of my class. I was working for the #1 guy that owned car dealerships in the world. He still holds records. I don't know why I instinctively do stuff like that, but I want to learn from the best. I don't want to learn from people that are training this business that don't want to override 1 million people on auto ship. Wow. There's not a trainer that you guys can find, not one trainer that you could find, that if I walked up to him and said, listen, okay, if I could share with you how to get 1 million subscribers, let's say that they're charging, $19.99, right? So $19.99 times 1 million. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay? That's $20 million a year. I want you guys to go to Tony Robbins, Les Brown, Maxwell, if they're still living, Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, Bob Proctor. Think about all the people that teach this industry. And if I said to them, I can show you how to get 1 million subscribers that pay every month like clockwork, they would say, show me, show me. And I would go, it's the industry you're teaching about instead of building in it. I understand if you're retired, you know what I mean? Richard Petty, 7-time world champion, won 200 races. That guy can teach. Why? Because he can't drive that fast anymore. That's why athletes end up coaching, end up being coaches, because they can't play the game anymore. Okay, so I'm off my wagon now. But you guys are going to see moving forward that I'm going to start finding the people that were like Robert Hollis at the age of 27, 28, going, wow, I built my whole life around a career that had to do with my physical ability. And when I messed up my knee, my income disappeared. I thought I had to be more intelligent. I thought to make money, I have to work harder. And someone explained to me how to draw a bunch of circles to help people supplement and replace their income. And I've been doing it for 35 years. I was going, hey man, I don't need to make $62,000 a month, but I'd like to make $6,000. That was my first goal. If I could make $72,000 a year and have a lifestyle where I didn't have to get in commute traffic, where I could do anything I wanted whenever I wanted, when I wake up when I'm done sleeping, I like that lifestyle. And I know for a fact that people today are still looking for that. And according to everything that I'm reading and everything that I'm learning, I know that our current situation is going to stay the same and even get maybe a little worse. And there's going to be a lot of people out there that, because the economy is changing, everything's going up. And as everything goes up, they're going to need second job. They're going to need third job. They're going to be looking for a way to replace that $400 that they lost on a monthly basis. And they're going to see a simple theoretical from me, or maybe you, and they will not care what vehicle you're in. They will not care about the products. They will not care about the comp plan. They want a way that they can do that has already been proven and done. I'm not the only person that's made money in this profession. There's been over 20 people that have made over $1 million in commissions in MDC. This is not on trial. The products are not on trial. The comp plan's not on trial. We have a great vehicle. Is it perfect? No, it's not, because nothing's perfect. So, I will lead by example moving forward. Believe it or not, I am going to do one more video out of this book. I started this out with a thought in mind, and I didn't really cover the very first chapter. So tomorrow I'm going to cover that chapter, and I think that you guys will enjoy it. It's called Introduction to Multi-Level Marketing. So, find me on Facebook, find me on YouTube, Robert Hollis. Thank you very much, each and every one of you. Please share this with people. I believe in this profession. I've helped hundreds of thousands and millions of people. This is not the perfect way, but it's a better way. And I want to find people that are sick and tired of listening to people that don't know what the hell they're talking about. All right? So thank you, Kai. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Craig. My lovely wife, Terry, Crystal, Elaine. Who else is on here? John. Thank you very much, everybody. I really appreciate you. Won't let me go up further. If no one's giving you permission to succeed in life, let me be the first. I believe in you. I know you can do this. It's simple. Talk to you later. Bye for now.